Welcome to Rise with Discipline. This channel is not for the comfortable. It is for those who are tired of being controlled. If you are still waiting for permission to win, this is your warning. Like most people believe wealth is about money. That belief alone is why they never have any. They believe wealth comes from hard work, patience, honesty, or luck. They believe if they save enough, behave well enough, wait long enough, one day something will change. Machiavelli would laugh at this, not because work is useless, not because patience is weak, but because none of these create power, and wealth is not created by effort, it is attracted by power. Here is the rule they never teach you. Money follows control, not effort. From the moment you are born, you are trained to obey systems you do not control. Time schedules you didn't design, rules you didn't vote on, currencies you can't influence, prices you can't negotiate. You are told this is normal. You are told this is stability. You are told this is safety. But Machiavelli warned that those who depend on systems they do not control are never free, and freedom is the foundation of wealth. The poor man works inside systems. The rich man designs them. This is not philosophy, it is observation. Look closely at history. The richest families didn't work harder. They positioned themselves closer to decision-making, closer to leverage, closer to control. They didn't ask, how much does this pay? They asked, who decides? Machiavelli understood something most people still resist today. Power does not announce itself as cruelty. It disguises itself as order. Schools teach obedience, not leverage. Jobs teach productivity, not ownership. Savings teach caution, not expansion. And the mind adapts. You start to feel proud of being reliable, grateful for being chosen, afraid of being removed. That fear becomes the invisible chain. The moment you depend on permission to survive, you will never accumulate power. And without power, wealth never stays. This is why lottery winners go broke, why athletes lose fortunes, why sudden money disappears. They gained money without gaining control. Machiavelli wrote that fortune favors those who are prepared to command it, not those who hope it behaves kindly. Wealth is not a reward. It is a tool given to those who already control outcomes. Ask yourself something uncomfortable. In your daily life, how much do you truly control? Do you control your time, or does someone else sell it back to you? Do you control your income, or does it arrive only if someone approves your presence? Do you control value, or do you exchange hours for permission to exist? Most people confuse motion with progress. They stay busy to avoid asking dangerous questions. But Machiavelli would tell you this: a man who is constantly occupied has no time to rise. Busyness is the perfect prison. It exhausts rebellion. The rich understand this early. They learn to protect their energy, not waste it. They invest attention before they invest money, because attention is where control begins. Whoever controls attention controls belief. Whoever controls belief controls behavior. Whoever controls behavior controls money. This is why media empires are worth more than factories, why platforms are worth more than producers, why the owner earns while the worker performs. It is not unfair. It is structural. Machiavelli never argued for morality. He argued for clarity, and clarity reveals a brutal truth. If you do not control a system, you are part of someone else's. The poor man seeks security. The rich man accepts risk, but only calculated risk. Security makes you predictable. Predictability makes you replaceable. The system rewards replaceability with wages. It rewards control with wealth. Think about it. If you disappear tomorrow, does the money stop? If the answer is yes, you are not wealthy, you are rented. True wealth is when money continues without your presence. Not because you are lazy, but because you have positioned yourself above execution. Machiavelli advised rulers to never be indispensable in trivial tasks, only in vision and command. Yet most people aim to be the best worker in a structure that will never belong to them. They decorate their cage and call it ambition. The one rule that controls wealth is simple, but unbearable to hear. Never depend on what you do not control. This rule terrifies people because it demands responsibility. Control means accountability. It means no one to blame. It means your comfort will be delayed. Your certainty will disappear. Your identity will be questioned. Most people would rather stay poor than face that instability. Machiavelli knew that power is never given. It is taken slowly, quietly, strategically. You do not overthrow systems. You outgrow them. You begin by controlling small things, your time, your skills, your knowledge, your network. Then you move toward leverage, things that multiply effort without multiplying labor. The poor chase income. The rich chase positioning. Income feeds today. Position feeds decades. This is why the rich study psychology, negotiation, influence narratives. They understand that people do not follow logic. They follow certainty, and certainty comes from those who appear in control. Machiavelli wrote that people judge more with their eyes than their hands. Appearances matter. Perception precedes power. This is why confidence is monetized, why authority attracts capital, why those who hesitate are overlooked. You don't need to be perfect. You need to be decisive. Indecision signals weakness. Weakness repels opportunity. The poor wait to be ready. The rich move and adapt. They know mistakes cost less than hesitation. Every system you enter will try to use you. That is not evil. That is efficiency. The question is whether you are also using it. If you are only consuming, producing, or obeying, you are being used. If you are learning structure, extracting leverage, building optionality, you are preparing to exit. Machiavelli believed the greatest danger was not enemies, but dependence. Dependence forces compromise. Compromise weakens position. Weak position destroys wealth. This is why emotional control matters. Why the rich appear calm under pressure. Why desperation smells like blood. Money avoids panic. It flows toward discipline. Discipline is not restriction, it is direction, and direction is the beginning of power. Most people are trained to survive. Very few are trained to command. This is why the rule remains hidden, because teaching control creates competition, and competition threatens those already in power. So the masses are taught morals, while the elite practice strategy. But once you see the rule, you cannot unsee it. You will start noticing who controls meetings, who controls narratives, who controls resources, and you will understand why they are paid differently. Wealth is not about deserving, it is about positioning. And in the next part, you will see exactly how this rule is applied in real life. How control is built quietly, how power compounds, and why most people sabotage themselves before they ever begin. Control is never built loudly. Those who announce their power usually have none. The greatest mistake people make is believing control begins with money. It does not. Money is attracted to control the way iron is attracted to a magnet. Machiavelli observed that rulers who relied on wealth alone were fragile, but rulers who controlled structures could create wealth whenever they needed it. This is why some people recover quickly from failure while others collapse forever. They do not control the same levers. The poor focus on outcomes. The rich focus on mechanisms. Outcomes change, mechanisms endure. If you understand the mechanism, you can recreate the outcome endlessly. This is why the rich lose money and return richer, and why the poor gain money and return poorer. The rule continues. Never chase what you can position yourself to command. Most people want results now. Control requires patience, and patience feels like loss to the undisciplined mind. Machiavelli warned that impatience creates exposure. Exposure invites exploitation. When you rush, you reveal weakness. When you reveal weakness, you lose leverage. Leverage is the invisible force behind wealth. It allows small actions to produce massive outcomes. A worker has no leverage. An owner does. A negotiator does. A gatekeeper does. Ask yourself, what do you control that others must pass through? If the answer is nothing, you are not positioned for wealth. Most people sell labor. The rich sell access, access to capital, access to audiences, access to decisions, access to distribution. Distribution is power. This is why creators become wealthy, why platforms dominate markets, why middlemen earn more than makers. Machiavelli understood intermediaries long before the internet. He knew that those who connect others eventually control both sides. If you are always at the end of the chain, you will always receive leftovers. Control moves upstream. The poor ask, how do I earn more? The rich ask, how do I become unavoidable? Unavoidability creates pricing power. Pricing power creates freedom. This is why confidence matters, why presence matters, why reputation matters. People don't pay for effort, they pay for certainty. Certainty feels like safety. Safety attracts money. Machiavelli wrote that men follow those who appear strong, composed, and decisive. Even if they are wrong, hesitation repels followers. Followers create scale, and scale multiplies wealth. Most people sabotage themselves by seeking approval instead of authority. They ask permission. They explain too much. They soften their stance. Authority does not negotiate its existence. The rich speak in statements. The poor speak in questions. The rich decide first and adjust later. The poor wait for clarity and miss the window. Windows close quietly. Every opportunity has a lifespan. Control allows you to act before consensus. Consensus is always late. Machiavelli warned against relying on popular opinion. The masses react. They do not lead. By the time something feels safe, the profit is already gone. This is why the disciplined move early, when fear is high and certainty is low. Fear filters competition. Most people are ruled by emotional cycles: hope, fear, doubt, relief. The rich detach from these cycles. They operate by rules, not moods. Emotional control is financial control. Desperation forces bad deals. Calm attracts favorable terms. This is why the wealthy appear cold. They are not heartless. They are insulated. Insulation is built through options. Options are power. When you have options, you are never forced. When you are never forced, you negotiate from strength. Machiavelli believed that dependence was the most dangerous position because it removes choice. The poor accept conditions, the rich define them. This is why contracts matter, why ownership matters, why equity matters. Equity is control delayed. Wages end when effort ends. Ownership pays even when you sleep. This is not greed, it is structure. If you are offended by this truth, it means you were trained to serve within it. The system rewards those who understand it, not those who complain about it. Complaints change nothing. Positioning changes everything. Control is built layer by layer. First, you control yourself, your reactions, your habits, your discipline. Then you control value, a skill, a solution, an outcome others need. Then you control access, how that value is reached, who gets it, when. Then you control scale, systems that operate without you. Most people never reach past the first layer. They cannot control themselves yet dream of controlling wealth. Machiavelli would say this is delusion. Power begins inward. Discipline is not motivation. It is obedience to a chosen future. The poor obey circumstances. The rich obey vision. Vision organizes action. Action builds structure. Structure creates control. Control attracts money. This is the rule at work. Silent, constant, unavoidable. You don't become rich by wanting wealth. You become rich by becoming powerful in small, boring, repeatable ways. Daily discipline, strategic silence, selective exposure, calculated risk. The masses chase excitement. The discipline chase position. Position compounds. And once you understand this rule, you stop asking how much something pays and start asking how much control it gives you. That single question will change the trajectory of your life. Because wealth does not answer to effort, it answers to power. And power belongs to those who were disciplined enough to build control when no one was watching.